Hello, and welcome to Pulse Social's weekly news bulletin. I'm your host, Edward Dexter. Let's take a look at this week's stories.
In this week's stories, we will be looking at Eating Disorder Awareness Week. I look at the link between weight cutting and eating disorders in MMA and UFC fighting. We will look at ice hockey and sports mentoring in my podcast with Scott Maguire, prominent businessman and ice hockey sports coach. We will also look at Pulse Social's corporate sports and wellness events days. Here at Pulse Social, we are key specialists in organising corporate sports and wellness events days. There's no better way to enjoy sports fun away from the office than by indulging in our selection of exciting, challenging, sports and wellbeing themed team building activities in London and the surrounding areas. Let us develop communication and relationships within your workforce. Choose from a range of inclusive team sports activities such as HIIT classes, dodgeball, rounder sports and day games. All proceeds will support our community sports and employability projects across London. Here at Pulse Social, we are spreading the word that it is Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Starting today, we are constantly fighting the myths and misunderstandings that surround anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorders. Time to make a positive change today. In my blog, I will look at the link between UFC fighting and eating disorders, how the process of weight cutting, that is, when fighters lose huge amounts of body mass to weigh in for competitions, can be linked to eating disorders within fighters. In this week's podcast, I spoke with Scott Maguire, the CEO of Canary and the preeminent ice hockey coach in West London. We spoke about Scott's youth hockey workshop at Queensway Ice Rink and his coaching at Bayswater. I asked Scott about the role of hockey and his coaching has played in his life, and how he is giving back to the sport which gave him everything.
These have been this week's Pulse Social's weekly news bulletin stories. I've been your host, Edward Dexter. Look out for my podcast and my blog article coming soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.